Hello, my name is Thomas Cannon. I'm going to give you some information today on how to be your own editor, publicist, agent, and publisher. I begin with this slide with a spot to find information. It is my intention to have information up on my blog, Cannon Fodder, my website, the social media, including Twitter. I'm at TCBCannon and at WhatMyKidSays. And I ask you also to go to Facebook and like my book, The Tale of Apathy. I want to provide this information and get it as accessible as possible, and I hope you find it useful. So I'm going to begin my presentation, and I'm starting out with a picture of Petticoat Junction because I want to tell a quick story. In the 90s at some point, I was in a hotel room with my brothers and Petticoat Junction came on. I had remember watching these reruns in the 70s, but I was flabbergasted because they were in color. I could not figure it out. I mean, did they colorize it? Was I seeing things? I couldn't figure it out. Then all of a sudden, it dawned on me. Petticoat Junction was filmed in color. However, all of our TVs growing up had been black and white. So I'm coming to you not as an expert, but as just somebody that has tried to use technology as a writer, and I'm going to show you what I've learned, and learned through a lot of mistakes. Okay? And one of those mistakes was when I decided to make the leap into technology. I had just moved to Oshkosh. It was early 90s. I had a roommate that had a computer. He even had the AOL. I had no idea on how to get onto it. But I was going to go back to school, so I was just going to finally make the big bold. So I went down to the Montgomery Ward, and I got this. Now, they had computers then. They had the internet then. But I did not take the leap, and I bought this. Now, I love this machine. I wrote a lot on it, but if I wanted to print off my novel, it was hours and hours of It was just very limiting. I do also want to point out that this is not some vintage photo. This is the photo I took of it, pulled it up out of the basement. Okay? Now, I have moved on to better technology. And I do admit that while I'm not an expert, I am that guy at work that people talk to and ask to look at their computer so they don't have to call IT. I understand how tricky things are. I don't think people that design apps and websites do. I think that they put something up there and they think that this new tool they're giving us looks like this. But to us, it looks like this. We do not even know where to start. And so I tried to think of an analogy that would give us a place to start. I know that for your brain to take in new knowledge, for anybody's brain to take in new knowledge, there has to be something already there that it can kind of relate to and say, this is like that. Otherwise, it's like that old adage says, in the one ear and out the other. So I tried to come up with an analogy, and this is what I came up with. A roll-top desk. Yeah, it's tricky. There's lots of drawers, and those drawers are labeled in German. But as long as you know that what is in that desk is there, and you can use it, hopefully I'll give you some confidence to be able to keep searching until you do find it. Thought of other analogies, spice racks, booking armoire, and quite frankly, those seemed a little sexist. And there's other reasons why I wanted to go with this analogy. For example, because it just looks like drawers to me. Along the top, here are drawers to Microsoft Word. Inside are tools. I can even open up this drawer. Oh, I see something interesting. Paragraph. I'm going to take a deeper look. I can pull that out, set it right on the top, and take a look inside. So hopefully this will give you some sort of framework. And again, if you can think of a better analogy, please contact me, and I'd love to hear it. But why do we need technology? I wanted to convince people that we need it because self-publishing has gone from a stigma to a successful business model. Indie authors can publish like professionals. The percentage of people buying ebooks is continuing to rise. More publications are online and are requesting their submissions to be submitted online. There's also the fact that the amount of marketing dollars a publisher is going to spend on each book is going down. Writers are simply expected to use every avenue of social media to promote their books. But that is okay, because you are your own best publicist. And you want to use these tools so that you can reach every reader that you can. So what do I want to show you? I want to show you using a word processor to edit, how to find publications to submit to, how to use technology to send that work, and then social media to promote yourself. Hopefully I can be able to show you today how to create a Facebook page, how to use hashtags on Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus to reach people. Hopefully how to connect those social medias together to make it easier, and explore self-publishing. So let's begin. I want to begin with online submissions. Of course, you need a computer with word processing. I hope everybody has that. I hope they don't have a word processor like in my previous picture. It's possible, with a lot of mailing stuff out and putting in the old SASE envelopes, you're going to need an email account. I realize people already have an email account probably, but I want to talk a little bit about that. Submittable account. Now this is a free thing. Many publishers use Submittable as a way to process submissions. Many sites use this. However, not every site uses Submittable. A lot of times they have their own online process, and they will ask you for your information and log on. I have not found that to be obtrusive. The worst that happens is occasionally you get a newsletter from them through your email. And I am going to show you an example of a website that contains databases of places accepting submissions and contests. You can just Google things like submissions for fantasy and things like that, but there's websites that make it a lot easier and go in depth. So I'm going to word processing. Now you guys probably know the main two, Microsoft Office. For Macs, it's Pages. Those are great tools. They can do a lot of things. But there are also some free options. There's OpenOffice. OpenOffice is something that I use frequently, and it's very compatible with Microsoft Office. There's WordPad. If you have a Windows computer, it comes with WordPad. It's very basic. It can be a tool if you want to create a document without any formatting in it. There's other AbiWord, Yarte, NeoOffice. Those are those are similar to OpenOffice rather, and those are also free. The last one is I'm going to talk about is Google Docs. That's free. It's online. It's a good word processor. I have found it to have some limited features. Still, the good thing about it is, as long as you have the internet, you have access to your work. You don't forget it on the computer at home. You don't lose your flash drive. You can access it. And you can also make it available for somebody else to access. Maybe they want to add something to it. Maybe they want to look it over and critique it for you. You simply make it available. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about editing. First is about submitting a type of document. Now a publisher, a journal may ask you to cut and paste it into the body of the email. That's kind of that's pretty easy. The bad part is sometimes then you lose formatting and it doesn't look quite good. Other times they'll ask you to have it in rich text format, and the newer OpenOffice, once you have the document open, you go to Office, you go to Save As, and then there's a pull-down menu, Save as something. Here I'm going to give you an example on older Microsoft Word, which is kind of similar. Oh, actually, I guess I'm going to show you on OpenOffice. Go to File, open up that drawer, go to here, this compartment, Save As. It opens up, and now you have a list of things you could save it as. Rich text format. There you go. The newer Microsoft Office simply has a spot where you can click it and save it as a PDF. That is also a nice way to save your work, make sure that it can't be changed, and there's many other advantages to that. The other thing I want to talk about is actually editing. You're going back, now you want to read it over. Of course, you probably want to print it off and read it out loud, make some changes, and then what I like to do is make it a very large font. Select all, make it a very large font, maybe even bigger. And now every word stands out. Even the spaces are obvious, and so you can really look it over with a fine-tooth comb. Check it out carefully. Now, the other tip I want to talk about was you're in the middle of editing a longer piece and you have to leave. How do you get back to the exact same spot? Well, I just type in a word that is pretty unique. I always do my favorite author, which is Heller. I put that in there. Now I can save it, close my document up. Then when I go back to edit, I can find where I was last. Go to Edit, Find, type in my word, takes me right to where I left off, delete it, and I'm ready to move on. Okay, so now you have edited your document. You think you're nearing time for it to be able to submit. Now I suggest that you do some online editing. I'm going to talk about ProWritingAid because that is something that I have used. There's other ones. There's Grammarly, I believe. And another one I want to talk about is Critique Circle. That's online. That will help you. That gives you people that are willing to look at your work and read it over. But ProWritingAid, that will evaluate your work, and it will check stuff over. Now you can do 1,000 words. I'm going to log in with my Google Plus. Hopefully, maybe not. Yeah. Now I can do up to 3,000 words. There's also, you can spend more money and actually have full access to it, and it does some other work, and it might be worth it for you. And then it's just simply a matter of copying and pasting. Select all, copy, go to paste it in there. Tell it to improve your writing. It'll look it over. It'll now analyze it. And then it will look at how how often do you use each word? Have you used each word too much? How are your paragraph lengths? Have you used too many adverbs? You don't necessarily have to, it may be wrong. For what you're doing, it may not be giving the good advice, but certainly something to think about. And then it'll highlight it, and then you can go back to your document and make the changes. See, so my overused words, let's click on that. It thinks then in just then, that's something that I often use too much, and look. That's not good. Here we go. So now you've edited, you think you're ready to go. Now you're going to send it out. You're going to send it electronically. Everybody probably has an email. I just want to talk about what message you're using, what message that conveys. If you're going to use Gmail, that probably says you're pretty competent, you know your way around the computer. Hotmail, you think MySpace is hip. You put the in the front of names that you shouldn't, like the Facebook, the Twitter, the Google. Do you have a Yahoo account? Anybody here have a Yahoo account? We know that you probably forward chain mail that says Bill Gates is giving away money. And then there's AOL. AOL, that probably sends the message that you share funny emails by printing it off and going over to your friend's house with it. I don't think that your email account is going to cost you a big book deal, but I do think it sends a message, and you want everything to think that you know what you're doing, you're professional. That's why I don't use AOL, I use Google. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I guess that would be a lie. I do have an AOL account, but I use AOL account for personal stuff. I don't want to get rid of my AOL account. But I use Google, or Gmail rather, for all my correspondence as a writer. It seems to be the most common one, and it does give you that free online word processor. It also allows you to log into many sites nowadays, one of those being YouTube. YouTube is a great place, a growing place to advertise your book. It also gets you on to Google+. Google+, it's like Facebook, much less popular, but you are going to find out later on when I talk about it why you want to be on it, on Google+. Here's an example of a Gmail account. Again, here's the drawers. Here's your email. You can tuck those away into different drawers. I always save my rejections in a special rejection file. Up here, here's a drawer labeled More. I guess that is the junk drawer. So now we need to find out where you're going to send your work. There's two well-known ones, Duotrope and the Writer's Market. Those are both great tools. I've used both of them. I'm currently using Duotrope. Costs $50 a year. The kind of thought on that is that it's not really worth the money. Does seem like it, but all my submissions are actually on Duotrope. It has a submission tracker, which is very nice. There are free markets, and they're listed there. The one I probably might go to is the Grinder. It's similar to Duotrope, but it has some bugs. But it will find you places to submit to. So you'll go and find a place to submit. Now if they ask for a submittable account, they'll prompt you, log into a submittable account or create one. It's free, and it's an easy process where you just mostly upload your document through Submittable. Kind of nice. It gives you another tip of what's going on with your work. Again, you can notice all of the rejections right there, declined. The thing I want to show you though also is up in the corner is my picture. That's called a Gravatar. Globally recognized avatar. It's an image for your profile so that you can use it against different platforms that accept Gravatar. And even if you don't have a Gravatar, if you're just uploading a picture and you're on social media, you're going to want to use this same picture of you so that it becomes your brand. People recognize it. And that also means it has to be a picture of you. It can't be a picture of your kitty cat. They want to be able to see your face. They want to be able to trust you. So to be able to submit online, you need a non-embarrassing email. I use Gmail, because it's Google. Word processor, Submittable. You also need a willingness to create accounts for people that don't use, for publishers that don't use Submittable. They have a different process. Some of it is just using email to send your work. Other ones you do have to create an account. And then probably what you're going to need is different websites, a database that just tells you everybody that's looking for things. And you can, in fact, really identify who is looking for what. Here's Duotrope. Search button. Search. Let's log in. I thought I'd done that. Logged in. And then you can now narrow your choices down what genre you have. Genre, mainstream or literary is what I usually choose. You choose the length, minimum payment. Might go up to token, electronic, and search it out. Okay. And it gives you a list of people looking for things that are in those parameters. Click over here, and it will give you a little bit of information about that place. Kind of tells you, so you can get a little synopsis and see if you want to click and explore it a little bit more. Now if I see an interesting one, I'll click on a new tab. It'll give me information, a journal, disability of culture and literature. Let's say that's something I wrote about. I would then go to their site. I would look around for samples of the writing to see if them and I are a match. And then I would look for submission guidelines. And sometimes you have to really find. Those are some samples that might be their journal, and it might be interesting. Oh, here we go. We're over your submission guidelines. Okay. This one's asking for it to be just email them, and you can notice that they are using Gmail. And that is what and now follow these steps and you can be at least submitting your work successfully.